On Friday, June 17th, my next guest will be featured on Combat FC 1 at the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Massachusetts, where he will be making his professional debut. Of course, I am talking about Jacob, the Tyga Guerrero. Jacob, welcome back, man. It hasn't been that long since I last talked to you, but here we are. We got a fight lined up, professional debut. It doesn't get any bigger than that, my man. You got to be stoked for this.
Oh my God, man. Happy to be back here. Happy for my pro debut. I can't put into words how excited I am for this fight. Been working hard. It's been the longest camp ever, but
right. A 3-year camp. But who's counting? Who's counting?
Basically.
One of the things I wanted to hit up on is you train out of Tiger Schulmann's MMA. And if you guys watched the first episode I did with Jacob, you'll already have known that. And I have had a bunch of his teammates on over the course of the past few months. Keeping tabs on all of you guys. It seems like everyone's got a fight. I know Mike Trezano's fighting tonight. It was just announced that Shane Burgos is going to be fighting. Ryan Burgos just fought. Melissa Ballack just fought. So like everyone's basically been in camp at the same time, and you're getting ready to fight now. Tell me, like, what has your gym been like? Has it been like chaotic over the past few months? Like with everyone fighting, that's got to be completely nuts.
A little bit, yes. It has been very busy. We have been sparring a lot. We have been doing a lot of sprints. Like we at Tiger Schulmann, we always try to be ready, so we don't so the gap for preparation, even if it's 10 days, 1 month, 2 weeks, we're always going to be ready. But yeah, like we have been. But when I saw that me and Shane are very close. I could say he's one of my friends, and I share in the group chat that him, me, and Munch are in there. I was like, yo, did you take this fight? And I was like, no, that's fake news. That was by the time that he went to train with Josh Emmett.
Yep.
And no, that's fake news. I'm like, I low-key won that fight, but I haven't said yes. All right, cool. So then but we have been sparring a lot leading up to my fight. And turns out the guy that he's going to fight is a lefty. So it's like, oh, that's nice. So his pressure works for me and my style works for him. But I'm going to tell you something, man. Shane is a pain in the ass. Sparring Shane is no game. Like he gives you no room to be creative. He's tired, he's coming forward. You clip him hard, he's coming forward. Like it's just crazy. That guy is.
Solomon complains about having to spar Lyman. Like he's just like, that guy is not fun to fucking spar. He knocked my tooth out. It's what he was telling me when I last talked to him. Like he's like, that guy hits hard too, dude.
Oh my God. Lyman is a freak of nature, man. I have nothing but respect for Lyman, bro. He is such a nice dude. But he puts his gloves on, he's trying to rip your head off.
And that's got to like give you a lot of confidence. You're training with guys like this. You're training with some of the world's best fighters. And like when you are getting ready to make your walk, particularly now at this point in your career, it's got to be like, you know what? I've survived. I've held my own. I even got my own shots in against some of these guys that are the best fighters in the world. That's got to be like a reassuring feeling to know that not only did I put my work in, but I put it in with the best.
Yes, 100%. Exactly. Like I know that if I'm losing, if in overall I lost the round with Lyman, or if in overall I lost the round with I don't know, Julio or Shane, I know on the that doesn't discourage me, or I don't really feel like, oh, I've survived the round. But like every exchange that I win with them, I know what as elite as their mind work, I know that I'm going to be able to translate that on my next round or on my next sparring session or on my next fight. So it's like if I'm landing shots and if I'm able to trick this guy, whatever the other guy brings is really not going to be something that's going to be surprising or something like, wow, I really have never seen anything like that before.
I know in Panama, baseball's a big deal. And so you probably played it or knew a bunch of people who did. It's weird that it's America's pastime. I don't know shit about baseball. I think it's boring as fuck. I can't do it. But I do know a little bit about it. And I do know when you're on the shit, what is it called? Like you're not getting ready to bat, but you're like on the deck thing.
Yeah.
And you're doing your practice swings. So they have weights on those bats. And
Yeah.
then they take them off. And it's like, oh shit, this is real easy when you're getting ready to like actually perform. And it's got to be like a similar feeling.
Yes.
It's like those weights come off, and now you're fighting against somebody who isn't in the UFC. It's just like you're fighting a mere mortal. It's got to be like, oh, like this is nice.
Yes, 100%. I think that every time I go spar to another gym, I feel the difference. I feel the difference when it comes to the pressure, when it comes to like you know that little, I have to be on alert at all times. It's like sometimes I can be a little more relaxed, and that equals me being more creative and me being more creative. And the Tiger Schulmann's cardio is something else. I'm pointing it out. That's something that everybody in the gym has. That you go to other gyms, and in like the pace that we have on sparring sessions, on wrestling sessions, is just it's crazy. It's crazy. That cardio is an extra weapon that we have, not just the striking that at Tiger Schulmann's.
It makes a absolute huge difference. I want to shift gears. I want to talk about something that you and I were mentioning before this we started recording, and it's important. And I like to think of myself as somebody who's pretty authentic, who doesn't really like, I get right to it and I tell you exactly how I'm feeling, and whether you agree with me or you disagree with me, it is what it is. Tough shit. But at least you know like my thoughts on it, and it's your choice on whether you agree with me or not. When I first started this project, when I thought about fighters, I thought of like all you guys as like superheroes. Like you guys all had these like talents and skills that a majority of the population doesn't have. And even if they did, like there are two things you need to be a fighter. Like not only do you have to like be proficient in all the martial arts that are required, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the striking, but you have to have the courage to get in there and put your body on the line. And everyone kind of has to be at peace with their own mortality before you can even walk into that cage, because you might not walk back out. That sounds like an exaggeration. That sounds extreme, but this sport is extreme. And if you don't respect it, you will get killed 100%. If you don't know what you're doing, you will get killed. That's a fact. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, but you have to think like that. And most people will never understand what that's like. I'll never understand that because I'm never making that walk. And you can talk about fighting all you want, but until you actually make that walk and do it, you'll never know. You're just going to be a guess. You're going to guess. I put fighters at every level, whether they're an amateur fighter or like a UFC world champion. I'd put everyone on that same pedestal. Like, wow, this is somebody to like emulate. This is like somebody to like set a great example for whatever you're trying to do, whether you're actually trying to like be like them and fight, or whether you're just trying to get a promotion or get in shape, whatever the case may be. That's an example for people to follow. I mention all this because I can't help but feel really fucking disappointed, because that's not true. Like there are a lot of people I feel out there that have the title of fighter, but they don't act like it. They cherry pick fights. They get their little blue belt or purple belt, like, oh, look at my fucking belt. And they cherry pick their fights. And I have to say, this is a very big allegation I'm making, but I do feel that and they know who they are. I do feel like they're the fighters that take the easy fights, and they're doing this for the gram and not for martial arts, and not to be an actual fighter. I feel like there's a lot of disingenuous people in mixed martial arts, and it kind of ruins it for the real ones. Time and time again, you must have like encountered people like this. Like for you, is it easy to ignore? Like it's just like, whatever, you'll get found out? Or do you like take personal offense to this? Because you're talking about somebody who's claiming to do what you do. And if I were you, I think I'd be a little pissed. It's like stolen valor almost.
100%. It's basically, think about it this way. It's like, yes, I am Hispanic. Yes, I am. I come from a Hispanic country, but I'm not really a big fan of singers like Bad Bunny, like Anuel, because I think there's art behind what you do. Mm-hmm. So if you're just saying stupid shit with a catchy beat, everybody's gonna fall in love with it, but they're not really gonna listen to the lyrics of a song. Or they're gonna, oh, that's whack. Where are we listening to another song? That translates into you are giving this guy a big fight, and you're selling it correctly, right? Yeah, Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul. Tyron Woodley has no hands. Tyron Woodley has no hands, and like that, I've seen so many other fighters that are like, yeah, give me that guy. Yeah, on this corner, this guy is 3-0. On this corner, this guy is 2-7. It's like, what?
Right.
What? And then they celebrate. Yeah, we just killed this guy. Well, that's exactly what you had to do. That's what you chose that fight. Like, listen, look at that fight with and I know that's your boy, but with the Eric Nolan fight, he didn't take my fight. He didn't take my fight because he was like, oh, I'm gonna take this fight because it's easier, and he got his ass whipped. Like, if you're choosing the fight, you're choosing the fight because that's what's gonna be easy for you and whatever. But a fighter fights, bro. A fighter fights, and it's not like, I'm gonna be choosing these fights because they're easy for me, and then don't just go just spar. Just do that, because at the end you're taking away someone that's like really building up, and it's maybe not as charismatic as you, and it's maybe not as charming or as handsome as you, but the guy really puts the work in. The guy really is really willing to beat himself up with other guys, and he's probably 7-4, but he's not 10-0 like you, but he has fought bad motherfuckers. And that's what makes the difference.
It's what makes a huge difference. And I feel like some of these promotions that are out there, I'm not going to name any of them, but there are some promotions out there that enable this, that they have like a gentleman's agreement with certain fighters they like. And it's like, hey, Jacob, man, pick from this, all these cans that are on the shelf, pick which one you'd like. We'll definitely make that happen for you. They have their favorites. And what they're trying to do is pad people's records. And then so that these promotions can say, oh, well, we got him into the UFC, we got him into PFL, whatever the case may be. But you're going to wash out. Like, yeah, you may have made it there. You'll get 1 or 2 fights, you'll wash out because people are going to find you out and you're fucking gone. People don't think about the long term of this game. Like, they only think about making it to the UFC.
That's it.
But look at like Shane, like, okay, or Lyman's another good example, or Mike or Julio. It's not enough. A lot of people can make it to the UFC. I'm not implying it's easy, because it's not, but I'm just simply saying with the right record, anyone can make it to the UFC. But there's a revolving door, right? Like the people, like only a few people can like make it there and stay there. But most of the people that show up, it's you're there for a year or two and you're fucking gone. That's it. What's in your mind, like, it's almost kind of like this like vicious cycle that you see. Like, these promotions are trying to pad and lift these guys up, and then they find themselves in the UFC and they're fighting a guy like Arce, and it's like, well, you're RIP, nice knowing you, because you've never had a hard fight in your entire life, and this guy's going to expose you.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's something I always mention. It's, hey, you had an easy path to a contender series. You get to a contender series and you make a fool out of yourself. You get in there, you get completely destroyed and mauled by a guy that really worked his, like I said, 7-4, and not your 10-0 to the contender series, or I don't know. You just get in there, get destroyed because you are picking fights, because you're really not preparing yourself for let's say you grab all the tests, you're preparing yourself for a test, right? And you see all the answers online, right? But then you get to the test and you see the questions are completely different. They're not the same questions. They're not the same words. What are you gonna do? Right. Now you're locked up in there for 15 minutes with a bad motherfucker that really trained, that really challenged himself, that he has lost, but he has lost to people that just like him have been working hard. You have been, they paved the road for you. It's different. It's different.
I have a controversial thing to say. I don't believe in tune-up fights. I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them. I think if you take a tune-up fight, you're a pussy. Number one, I said what I said. I think you're a pussy. And number two, I almost like every single time. That's why I love Bellator so much. I love the blue corner for Bellator because it's like this guy's hungry. Nobody thinks this guy's gonna win. I'm almost always on the blue corner unless I happen to know who the red side is, unless I've done a show with them and I personally know them. I am hard blue corner with Bellator. And like Ben Parrish is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Hard B side. They bring him in. He doesn't look like a fighter. He doesn't have like a physique. If you know who Ben Parrish is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He comes in, he clips, knocks out their starlet. I like Christian Edwards too. No, I don't have anything bad to say about him. And he ruins their fucking plans. And then they're like, well, fuck, now we have to bring this guy back. I love that. That's why I love Bellator so much, because they try to put together these crazy, nonsensical like matchups. And every so often it blows up in their face and I laugh. And I think it's hilarious. Yeah. Another example of that is, this is probably the worst one. And it's like notorious. It's like a cautionary tale. And I say this to people. Do you know who Mikey England is? Have you heard the name?
No.
Okay. So he fights in a Midwest promotion called FAC, which streams on Fight Pass. And basically it's like a proving ground for all the Glory MMA guys, right? Okay. And Mikey England is the Glory MMA guy. James Krause is his coach. I'm a big fan of Glory MMA. I'm a big fan of James Krause. But I'm just saying, I'm being honest. Like, I'm saying it for what it is. I'm not saying anything people don't already know. Do your research, pay attention, you'll come to the same conclusion. Their boy, Mikey England, was 4-0. And they bring in a guy with a 2-6 record. I'm not going to say this guy's name. That's what Tapology is for. I'm not in the business of trying to embarrass anybody. Look it up yourself. 2-6 fighter. He rear naked chokes England in 45 seconds in the very first round. Set this guy back. Oh, and by the way, the guy that like got this choke on him, he hasn't won a fight since. He's had 2 boxing bouts that he's dropped, and he's lost 3 MMA fights in a row. That was those last win. And Mikey England, on the other hand, yeah, he's 6-1, but he is forever going to be known as the guy with that one blemish on his record, who has a 2 well, he's 3-9 now. But yeah, I thought that was super interesting, and it's like a cautionary tale. It's like you think you're getting an easy fight. You never know, man. Some guy's gonna feel like hard disrespected, and all it takes is one small mistake, and that's gonna cost you 2 or 3 years, because nobody's gonna want to touch you if you lost a fight to a can.
Yep. It's like, are you even ready for the big show? If we just gave you this fight and you lost it like that?
Yeah. Like so many fighters are coddled, and I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. I don't believe in tune-up fights. If you need a tune-up fight, that means you're not ready to fight. Yeah. It means it straight up. That's exactly what it means. It means that you don't have the confidence. Your mentals aren't there, and you should probably take more time off before you even think about going back into the cage. That's my rant about tune-up fights, but nobody else ever talks about it. I had to talk about it. I'm going to talk about something else controversial. I think it's funny. I'm going to send you one of my new rash guards I just put out, because I'm giving you an award for a bad thing, but to me it's funny because I think it's a sign that you're doing something right. YouTube recently changed up their algorithm where it hides the amount of dislikes one can get on a video. You were my most disliked video until recent. One of my other boys just finally overtook you. 85.7% of everyone who watched our video together liked it. And you just got beat out by another friend of mine. Only 84.6% of people liked it. And I was kind of thinking, I was keeping a close eye on it because it was kind of going back and forth for a little while. But unfortunately, your reign of like the most notorious guy I've ever brought on, it's over. There's a new champion in town. So I'm sorry you lost your crown. I will make it up to you though. I'll send you a buttery rash guard. all jokes aside, though, Jacob, like we kind of briefly talked about a little bit. Do you think like when it comes to like talking about fights and being honest, at the same time you're expected to be a showman, you're expected to generate excitement for your fights, like you can't be boring in the ring or out the ring, and that's just kind of like the dilemma, the fighter's dilemma. With that being said, do you feel like people take this shit a little too seriously? It's particularly like the talk. Do you think like people are pussies and they can't take anything? And there's a lot of hurt feelings, and like it's kind of like high school sometimes. Like honestly, it's just like, oh, he said this about you, and it's just like, oh my god, like why is everyone's panties in a bunch about all this shit? Who cares? Who gives a fuck what that guy had to say? Like, you guys are supposed to be fighters. No one should be giving a shit about any of this stuff. It's just wild to me, man. But maybe it's just because I'm not a fighter and that's why I see it that way. But you tell me, are people too soft in the fight business?
Yes, 100%. I think that there's a lot of insecurity when it comes to fighters. Like so many fighters and fighting fans as well. They are they're very insecure and they're very like, oh, but it's funny because you see people on social media saying shit or lock them up in the room with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like say someone doesn't like, so say someone that's not a fighter or even if it's a fighter, lock them up in the room with me. See if they're gonna be just as brave behind when they're not behind a screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I feel it's stupid when like I am the type of person that I really don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. If you like me, that's awesome, cool. If you don't like me, well, that's awesome as well. I really don't mind. Like I really don't mind if someone said you're the okay, cool. Someone he says that your style is those kicks are not gonna work. All right, I've heard shit like that my whole career. Like it really doesn't bother me what anybody has to say. Like if you're willing to, I'm not gonna fight you in a parking lot or anything stupid like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get arrested. But if you
No,
really
no Jorge Masvidal action.
like I feel that there's so much insecurity and it's like, oh, I have to prove this, I have to prove that. I don't have to prove shit. You want to fight, we go in the cage and we fight. But but uh but I am not gonna go back and forth with anyone like,
Yeah.
oh, you hurt my feelings, oh, you said that I'm too short, oh, fuck you or fuck your family. It's like
I just don't get it. Like to me, I think of it, it's like, yeah, I talk shit about you. You talk shit about me. We did our job to say what we needed to say, to promote this fight. And if there's something you said that I took offense to, I'm gonna let you know when we're in the cage at some point, whether it's through my actions or through it's just one-on-one, me and you talking man to man. Like, hey, like you fucking shouldn't have said that. Like that fucking pissed me off, and that's why I elbowed you in the face after the bell because fuck you, right? Like that's where you're supposed to hash this stuff out, right? Not in the comment section. Like people are soft, dude.
yeah, we're fighters. We're supposed to fight. Like I'm gonna punch you, and I'm gonna be talking to you all the time. I'm gonna be telling you, oh, you remember what you said about my wife, motherfucker, or some shit like that, you know. But it's like I'm not gonna be like on a comment section or like sending like posting stories. Oh, the way he dressed is whack. It's
like I'm glad like you took the 24 hours of your day, you took the time to like pay attention to what I'm wearing and to like write about it. Like, okay, I have the most ridiculous story ever. I won't say who this person is because it's not worth it. I'm not going to use my platform to prop up a hater, even though maybe I should one day. There was this guy who has a show like mine. It's not as good as mine, but nobody's as good as me. Throw a couple more downvotes in there. All the other podcasters are seeing this. They're going to get all mad and they're going to downvote this video, but that's okay. Anyway, he implied that in the year and a half I've been doing this, that the only reason I've been successful is because I just simply look at who he follows on Instagram and I just like add them. And that's like, that in itself is the reason for my success. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you really think that, you are very, very jealous, you're very, very petty. And instead of taking the time to like cross examine all the people I'm following, maybe you should have used that time to like do more research. Maybe you should use that time to learn editing skills. Maybe you should take that time to better yourself. Why are you paying so much attention to me? And I'd imagine there's a parallel to fighting. It's like, you're saying all my shit's not going to work. Okay, great. That's fine. But what are you doing? Why are you so worried about me? Like, that's just, it's I feel like the the fragile male ego is something to behold. It truly is.
Yeah, that's something that I really don't understand. It's like what are you really taking your time to tell me or to comment anything about? Like, I don't talk about anybody. Like, I don't really go around talking about, oh, he did this or he did that. Like, I don't like this. I'm like, just worry about yourself, man. Like, no one that's over you is gonna talk about you. Like, no one that's over you is going to talk about you. If they feel that oh, he's doing better, or he has 10 more followers than me, or he has this or he has that, that's just a jealousy thing. Like, that means that you should probably go check your estrogen levels, because you're not acting like a fucking man. Like, you don't talk about all the man. No, talk about, like, come on.
Yeah, it's something else, and that's why, like, when we were talking it up in our last podcast, and if there was going to be a most hated video, I'm glad it was you. For the long time, we had a nice little run, but we're at it again, and hopefully we get a bunch of downvotes this time. If you're watching this video, please give us a downvote. We'd really appreciate that. Talk to me, Jacob, a little bit about your upcoming bout. I'm really excited for this. This has been a super long time coming. It's been like 3 years since you last fought. It's a brand new promotion. They're just kicking off. It's going to be on Fight Pass. I believe you're the co-main event for this one. Talk about a big stage right off the gate. You got to be really, really excited about this. Can you talk a little bit about how your bout came together when you first were notified that this was happening? Because there have been a lot of promises made to you in the past that haven't materialized, but here we are. An announcement's been made. You're on the fight poster, Fight Pass. There's a lot of good things to look forward to, my man.
Yeah. So, well, I'm excited for this fight. They let me know, like, yeah, about like 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. And I saw the fight. I saw the guy's record. It really didn't impress me at all. I am the type of, I'm gonna worry about what I'm gonna do, not what you're gonna do, because that's me worrying about what you're gonna do is like, oh, I'm gonna let him impose his will, or he's gonna be able to. I'm not gonna let you impose your will. I know what I'm capable of. I know my skill set. So when they offered me the fight, I said right away, yes, send him my way. I showed it to my team. Everybody was, yes, that's the fight. Let's take that fight. So to be honest, yes, I usually get nervous when I get like my, when they tell me this is the guy that you're gonna fight. I'm like, crap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I felt very, 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 very confident. I was like, hey, you know what? I've been putting a lot of work. I've been improving as a fighter for a long time. So, and one thing I can tell you, man, is if this fight I don't knock him out in the first 30 seconds, it's gonna be a long night for him. That I can promise you. I am going to put the pressure since the first second, and I'm gonna start throwing bombs, and I can guarantee you he's gonna fall.
Your opponent is Jamie Campbell. He's 3-0, and there's really not a whole lot of information on this guy. 3-0, but he has not really been active. His last bout was over a decade ago. It sounds like he's just trying to get back into the swing of things. And to be quite honest with you, I'm a little surprised at the matchup. I am surprised that he'd be willing to take the fight. I understand that, it's a debut fight and he hasn't been active. They're going to look at your amateur record from years ago. They'll see that 500 record and think you're an easy fight. That's got to be kind of amusing to you.
I love that.
That's got to be the reason why his camp is so eager to take it. From your perspective, is there any sort of, I don't know if hesitation is the right word, but are there any challenges with preparing for an opponent who hasn't been active in over a decade?
Well, again, it's just mostly, it's going to be mostly me imposing my will. Like, again, when you train with guys like the guys I train or the guys I have trained with, you really don't get out there and be like, wow, I'm surprised this guy is bringing this, or wow, I've never seen this before. So whatever it is that he is going to throw, or whatever it is that that's going to go through his mind, I'm gonna see it coming. So it really doesn't worry me what his game plan is. If he's gonna bring wrestling, if he's gonna be jiu-jitsu, if he's gonna bring boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever he wants to bring, I'm gonna be ready. So it really does. Again, it doesn't really bother me. I'm glad that he's looking at my record and thinking, wow, this is the fight to make, because I am gonna beat him up.
Yeah.
Good. I hope there's odds, and I hope we can bet on this. So
I'm looking at it on Tapology right now, and you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, because it's Tapology, of course. But the peanut gallery has 67% of the peanut gallery thinks Campbell's going to win. I'm like one of the few people that picked you. I already made my bets for this. Well, for you, I locked you in because the rest of the card isn't finalized yet. But I'm like probably the only person who picked you. Maybe me, you, and like Ryan or somebody. Like there's like probably 3 people who picked you. Is that kind of amusing in a way? Like right away, the peanut gallery's like, Campbell's gonna win. They're probably Campbell's coaches, his homies, trying to make him confident. Is it kind of amusing in a way? Like, okay, like count me out. Okay. Yeah, I'll be the blue corner for this. That's fine. Like that's got to be kind of amusing in a way.
I love that. I love to be the underdog in this fight. It really doesn't make me feel any type of, because again, it will be me saying that, oh, I am offended for this. Is me not being confident about, like me or insecurity speaking, like, oh, you touch a soft spot. No, I know what I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to do. So confidence doesn't mean that I'm gonna be in there and I'm gonna be cocky and I'm gonna put my hands down and I'm like, okay, hit me. You're not gonna drop me. I'm gonna go in there confident of the game plan. I'm not looking down on him. I know he's tough, but I know he's good, but I believe I'm better. So
this is a huge opportunity for you. 3 years. It's been 3 years since your last bout, and I know like how important this is for you. I know how excited you are. It's been a long time coming. Can you talk a little bit about how your game has evolved from 2019 until today? Because there have been some pit stops along the road. You've been in some other gyms, but now you've been at Tiger Schulmann's for quite a while. Like that, the version of you today has got to be almost unrecognizable compared to what's on your tape.
100%. When it comes to striking, when it comes to grappling, I have improved. I would say at 300% when it comes to my overall. I am more disciplined. I am eating the proper way. I am eating the proper way. I feel that it's a complete different ball game when you are an amateur versus when you're aiming to be a professional. Now that I'm going to have my pro debut, I'm really looking at this as my business. So I'm taking care of my business. I'm taking care of my body. Everything that I eat, everything that I buy is organic, superfoods. I spend a lot of money when it comes to food. I feel that you need to fuel your body the proper way, so I can squeeze the most out of it. But yeah, I feel that regardless of the time you can see it half full of half empty. Yes, I have not fought in 3 years, but I have learned so much in this past 3 years that I am just looking forward to prove it on June 17th. When the ref says fight, it's my time to shine.
And what is so cool about it is, despite the layoff, you're still not even in your athletic prime. So if we're going to take a 3-year layoff, that would be the time to take it. And I am confident that coming into this bout, people are going to start paying attention, and people are going to start asking questions about who is this guy? Where did this guy come from? Because I do believe that you're going to put on a show, and I think a lot of attention is going to be directed your way. Is it? And that's got to be kind of a good feeling, because I know how hard you've been working behind the scenes. No recognition, no fanfare. It's been a long time since you've been out there and been able to apply your trade. Now you're going to have the opportunity to do that, not only in a professional bout, but it's going to be televised for, anyone in the world can stream it, and people in Panama can watch it as well. That's got to be a really good feeling for you to know that your people back home can watch it as well.
100%. I love that. I love the fact that it's going to be televised on the biggest platform, which is UFC Fight Pass. And it feels amazing. It feels amazing to know that he has a lot of people, a lot of fighters behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's like some sort of media guy, and I love that. I love the hype that he has behind him. It gets me excited that I am just gonna go in there and I'm gonna take that. People are gonna be like, wow, what is this guy? What is this spinning stuff? What is this? Like, what is this confidence that this guy has? And all I'm going to say is, welcome to the Tyga Show.
Welcome to the Tyga Show, indeed. And can you tell me a little bit before I let you go, with a win over a guy like Jamie Campbell, 3-0, he's a 3-0, he's an undefeated fighter. And if you can make your professional debut win, I don't care who it is. You're talking about somebody who's strung together wins in the past. You're going to be the first number one, like, on his record. That's going to be a good feeling. And for you, I think that's going to give you a lot of confidence. It's like, yeah, like, you know what? I fought another professional. I fought against a guy with more experience than me, and I proved that I belong. And I think it's going to be a reaffirmation of sorts of things that you already know to be true in your mind, but you'll see it materialize in person. I think that's quite it's one thing to envision yourself succeeding, but then when you're actually doing it, two totally different things. And I think that's going to really help you out in your career. Like, as far as the rest of 22 is concerned, I know you're not, I preface this question because I know you wouldn't look past Jamie Campbell, but like, how active do you want to be for the rest of the year? It's still early. You could easily squeeze in another couple of fights if you really wanted to. Is that something that's in your brain, or is it kind of one of those things where we'll see how you feel after Campbell and maybe fight one more time, or possibly more than that? Do you kind of have an idea in the back of your head already?
Yeah, I really see myself winning this fight. But again, I don't want to look past through him. I want to go one fight at a time. But definitely, it's in my plans to have at least 3 or 4 more fights in MMA for the rest of the year. My goal is to finish the year with at least a 4-0. And so I'm going to try my best to perform and to do everything that I need to do to keep on training. I know I'm going to win the fight. I know I'm going to end up healthy at the end of the fight, and I just want to go back on Monday and back on training. It's just, we perform, but we can't forget what got us the win. So I'm pretty confident that I am going to win the fight, but again, one fight at a time.
One fight at a time, indeed. Totally makes sense. I always enjoy my time with you. You're a fun guy to talk to. You say it how it is. And I don't mean to insult you so early in your day, but I don't know, you just kind of remind me of me. So I always just like talking to you. In a different world, if I were a fighter, maybe I'd be like you. Jacob, I want to give you the opportunity before we go. I know that you have a lot of people in your corner. You have a lot of supporters, teammates that need to be shouted out. So I want to give you the opportunity to do that before I let you go.
Thank you. I want to give a big strong shout out to Tiger Schulman's for taking care of me. Shane Burgos, Montracera, they're gonna be on my corner. I want to thank the people that has been part of my work, and has been helping me to prepare myself. Edge Pro, LFG Coffee, Impact Dental Design, Injitsu, Face Meets Fist, Celsius, Elmwood Park Police. Um, yeah, I would really, I'm really, really thankful for all you guys.
All right, excellent. So for everybody, make sure you're tuning in to UFC Fight Pass. Again, that the date of the bloodbath is June 17th, Combat FC 1. And of course, I will be talking about it as the bout leads up, but it's a free fight. Go onto your computer, log on to your TV, watch my man get the dub. Tyga, man, always a pleasure to have you. And I look forward for you to come back when you're 1-0 undefeated professional, and we're talking about fight number 2.
Oh yeah, perfect. Looking forward to it, brother.